Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and if you're anything like me right now, I need to talk about the Raiders quarterback situation. Matthew Stafford ended up signing a contract extension with Los Angeles, and now according to Adam Schefter, the Raiders are going to shift their attention to Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, and Russell Wilson. This is not anything that I think should surprise a lot of people that watch this show, considering the fact that we have been saying over and over that the Raiders, no matter what, are going to trade or sign a quarterback early in the offseason process because it's the plan that they have. I know there's a lot of Raiders fans out there that want them to draft a quarterback. I hear you loud and clear. I want the Raiders to draft Cam Ward. But you also got to remember, if the Raiders draft Shador, Jackson, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, Tyler Shough, Jalen Milroe, I don't care who the hell it is, none of those quarterbacks would start in year one. And you can still want the Raiders to draft that QB. That's not an issue. The thing that we got to figure out, though, is who is going to be the starter, because the starter's not Aidan or Gardner Minshew. The starter for the Las Vegas Raiders is a current free agent, and based on the reports, it's either going to be Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or Sam Darnold. Hearing everything that has happened today, I want to be able to talk to the nation. So use hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat to skip the line. Jeremy Chugs is going to be working in the background. Shout out to Justin. He decided to pull up live to us. We don't always go live on Friday, and we're going to just sit here and answer and talk about all the news that has gone down, because we already got 500 people here, and the Matthew Stafford news hurt a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It hurt me. It kind of felt like a jab a little bit like Ben Johnson news did. So if you didn't see the video that I put out about an hour ago, it was around this. The Rams and quarterback Matthew Stafford finalized an agreement to keep him in Los Angeles. Reminder, the Raiders' Tom Brady met with Stafford in Montana earlier this week, and there was a lot of speculation that it was going to be Matthew Stafford heading to Vegas. Though Stafford ended up meeting with the Rams early this morning, they were able to iron out a few disagreements that they potentially had, and Stafford is staying with the Rams to make less money than what he would have been able to make with the Las Vegas Raiders. So I know this. This one hurt me really bad. What's your one-word reaction to the Stafford news about him returning to the Los Angeles Rams? Let me know down below. I'm going to give some shout-outs here on the show, and I see my guy Isaac Hernandez says, hey, man, hit that like button. Don't get me wrong. Today's show, I like usually pulling up here, being able to share some good stuff, exciting news, and I really did think that this team was going to be able to go out and get Matthew Stafford. And I know I say all the time, where there's smoke, there's fire, and if you're somebody that, I saw a lot of people coming at me on social media of saying, Mitch, you got to stop saying where there's smoke. There was a lot of smoke, man. There was a lot of smoke out there. And unfortunately, the Raiders swung and they missed again. What we talked about on this show, what everybody has talked about with Stafford, it was all real. It was all true. Stafford didn't want to uproot his family, and Stafford wanted to stay with the Rams. That's the fact of what happened here. Violated from Abby, next from Dan Dar, and that's kind of the mindset, if you're the Raiders, you need to have. You need to have that next man up type of mentality. It's just who exactly is going to be that next man up. According to Adam Schefter, it is either Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or Sam Darnold. I know this is a little bit of a confliction with what The Athletic has put out there, and I don't mean to rip on The Athletic, but I really think at this point where, think about how many beat reporters for the Raiders were talking everything about Stafford. I know there's a lot of really solid people that work at that publication, but if it's not coming from Schefter, or if it's not going to come from Jordan Schultz or an Ian Rappaport, like, we got to look at this, because I've had a lot of people say, well, Mitch, The Athletic put out a report that we're not going to overpay for a quarterback and we're not going to spend big on a free agent QB. I hear you, but that report came out before the Matthew Stafford news. And I said, if I was the Raiders, you put that report out there to show Stafford that you're all in on him, and the only quarterback that you're focused on is Matthew Stafford. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or Sam Darnold, I believe, are going to be one of those threes will be your next starting quarterback for the Raiders. Before I get into the first super chat that I see from NBD Super Dave, I got to show some love to our sponsor here on today's show, and it is PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. And if you've been watching the Combine, or the underwear Olympics, whatever the hell you want to call it. You can actually go more or less on certain players, whether you think how fast somebody's going to be able to run a 40 time, how many bench reps they're going to be able to get. You can get all of that information, and you can play along while you watch the combine at PrizePicks. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS. It is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. So I am going to stay live, and I am going to answer questions, and I would like to be able to answer questions here for about an hour. Though, judging off what I've seen so far in this live, if you guys don't have questions, or if you're at the point where you're like, I don't really want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it anymore, but I still wanted to talk about this Matthew Stafford Raiders quarterback situation. Not been on in a while, started dialysis in August, trade up for Ward now. Well, first off, MDB Super Dave, I hope that whatever you're going through, I hope that you know that you can always feel free to talk to us on here. Shout out to everybody that tuned into yesterday's show. We were able to raise $2,200 for Brandon Jasper's family to help a lot of the costs that they're going through right now since he passed away. I'm with you, though. Bro, I want the Raiders to trade up for Cam Ward. I know that there's speculation around a lot of these other quarterbacks, but I would rather the Raiders trade up for Cam Ward than sign Sam Darnold to a $40 million deal, than sign Russell Wilson to a $30 million deal, than sign Justin Fields to a $20 million deal. Because I know that that $20 figure seems a lot for Fields, but his value is going to go up because there are other teams that are, the quarterback situation is getting less and less and less. Let's go to 93 Nabman. Apparently Stafford enjoys state taxes. I'm just saying. I would say for somebody like Matthew Stafford, money's not an option, right? And for him to take less money to stay with Los Angeles, it's not a secret that he's a multimillionaire. But also, if Matthew Stafford didn't play in the NFL, he's a multi-millionaire. He grew up in Highland Park, which is where the richest of the rich people, like Jerry Jones, flip and live here in Dallas. Like, for a family to live in Highland Park, you have generational type of wealth. And then on top of the fact now that he's an NFL quarterback, and he's been an NFL quarterback for so long. So, like, we're talking about millions, like $10 million to Matthew Stafford at this point of his career. He wipes his ass with $10 million. And he's probably going to end up making $25 to $30 million less staying with the Rams than if he would have came to the Las Vegas Raiders, based on all of the reports and based on state income taxes. Let's go to Raider Muerte. What up, Muerte? Always sending in the good vibes. I'll tell you what, dude. I need some good vibes today. I'm not drinking anything. This is simply just water. Y'all absolutely kicked my butt yesterday, which you guys could probably tell, and I had a great time on yesterday's show, and I was hoping the next time that I was going to be able to go live was going to be good news that the Raiders traded for Matthew Stafford, not now we're going to be looking at some other options here. But again, this team it's not like the year's already over. You know what I'm saying? We still have plenty of free options or free agency options. We have a lot of money to work with. If you put the right plan in place, good shit could happen. I'll tell you this. Out of all the free agent quarterbacks at this point, I'm either Sam Darnold or I'm looking at Justin Fields. The Russell Wilson one, unless it's really cheap of a contract, out of those three names would be the least depressing. But I would say Darnold and Fields are more likely than Sam Darnold. Let's go to my man, Sheffy. What up, brother? Oh, man. One of the things Brandon was great with on the Raider More video chat was top 5. I don't know how we can work it into the show. I'll figure out a way to work in some top 5s on the show. Hell, I randomly did a top 5 yesterday on the Raiders Report talking about my top 5 greatest Raiders Report memories. So even though Brandon is up above, he was still pulling a lot of strings on yesterday's show. Let's go to Francisco. What up, brother? Missing out on Stafford definitely hurts, But the Raiders said they would be aggressive, and attempting to pull off that trade shows that let's continue the trust in this regime. That's not how you should look at this. And the Raiders put their best foot forward. And when you look at the reports, the Raiders were willing to offer him $100 million guaranteed, which was the number that I was told last week, which is why, we've been kind of pushing $100 million guaranteed on this show as often as what we can. This is not a Raiders problem. This is Matthew Stafford, I think, and I can't blame Stafford for looking at a team that he's already won a Super Bowl with, and then looking at a team that he hasn't won a Super Bowl with, and looking at a team where his entire family is already rooted into the ground, where his wife already has her own job going with a podcast. Like, I understand all the reasons why he stayed, and I don't think it's because of the Raiders or, this regime. I think it's because a lot of the things that he's got going on in his life. Because the Raiders put a better deal out. They offered him more money. They offered him more incentives. They offered him more security. But for Stafford, it simply came down to everything I just said. Staying with his current regime, staying with Sean McVay, and keeping his family in Los Angeles, man. So what should the Raiders do? Do you look into the draft, or are you going to go into free agency now to get that next quarterback? And I want to know what you would do, right? Because both of these are still on the table, and you can still say D for draft, but you got to know deep down, if the quarterback name that you're thinking of isn't Cam Ward, that quarterback is not going to start for the Raiders week 1. If the Raiders go into the NFL draft with only Aidan O'Connell, which it's a 0% chance of happening, then maybe the quarterback that they would draft would be the starter. But, I mean, you could see this team potentially sign somebody like Zach Wilson, and then they also could sign on top of that a Justin Fields. I think that there's not a 0% chance that the Raiders try to sign 2 different quarterbacks. I mean, right before we went live, news came out that the Raiders have decided to move on from Desmond Ridder, and that's not shocking to anybody. We knew that the Raiders weren't going to bring back Desmond Ridder. But I see some D's. I see some F's down below. I see another one coming in from Rebel. I checked DM and Tuna when I spewed on the show. So I actually think that one came in yesterday on our live show. But one of the great things about Brandon Jasper was he would always randomly DM people. And the fact that he DM'd you when you spewed onto me when you were doing that boot, I think just goes to show how awesome of a person Brandon Jasper was, man. He was always about putting a smile on somebody's face. Let's go to Conscience. If we get Fields, he has a career year, do we keep him? Depends, right? I mean, I think it depends what your quarterback options are next year, and I think it depends what your record is. If Justin Fields has a career year, but we're still under 500, then I don't know if that's the answer. I did say on a show that the number 1 offensive coordinator to fix Justin Fields is Chip Kelly, and if you want to go with a very run-heavy offense, Justin Fields, Ashton Genty, Justin Fields, or any of the other running backs. There's a lot of tough mother effing running backs in this year's class, and this year's running back class is extremely deep. This one, though, is special. John Addo! Bang! Fields and draft dart. R.I.P. to the great Tuna. Let's get some Tunas. Down below, you died twice. You died the first time you die, and then you die the last time somebody says your name. And I appreciate everybody that is keeping this legacy going. Again, give yourself a pat on the back if you were a part of yesterday's show. We've done a lot of really, really cool things. Yesterday was a top 5 Raiders Report moment for me personally. We were able to raise $2,200 for Brandon Jasper's family to help offset a lot of the costs that come when anytime somebody passes away. Everybody should be very, very proud of themselves. So you're saying you would draft Jackson Dart, which that's probably going to be your 2nd round pick. And then you're also going to sign Justin Fields. Again, I don't mind this idea, but I mean, based on a lot of the conversations over the past 24 hours, and I kind of roll my eyes when I say that just because the amount of different conversations that are being brought to our attention from the NFL Combine, I mean, it's something new every single day, it feels like, right? Every single hour there's new information coming out. But for the Raiders, I actually don't know if they're going to draft a QB in the top 3 rounds, quite frankly. Like, I think it's either they trade up for Cam Ward or they're just not going to take anybody because this is a team that wants to win right now. And Jackson Dart is a project type of player. And if they don't love any of the quarterbacks, I'm not saying they don't love any of them, but I think if this team were to draft a QB in the middle rounds, I think Will Howard would be more likely. Though, if you are a Dart fan, you got to check out the video that I put on the Raiders Report YouTube channel earlier today. Dart had a lot of really good things to say about the Raiders, Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and one of his best friends, JPJ. Check it out. It's on the Raiders Report channel. It's an interview from him today at the Combine. Let's go to my man, Muerte. Glad I get to listen to the show while on the road for work. Thanks for everything you and Chugs do for the nation. Raiders! Though, Chugs has done a lot, and he's working actually behind the scenes right now. We might actually do some even more content on today's show besides just talking about Stafford because we make a lot more content around the Combine. But we got to show some love to Justin. Justin pulled up today, and he is producing this show with us to the best of his abilities. One of our new guys. You guys have seen him a bunch on here, and I think you're going to see him more often. So you could have gone Lopez's, and you could have just gone Dark Chugs, but I'm glad you didn't. I'd rather you keep it Justin, quite frankly. Shout out to Justin down in the comments for pulling up with us, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be live. I usually don't go live on Fridays, but the amount of questions that I was getting my DMs going, I was like, dude, can we go live? And he said, say less. He said, say less. What up, John Akala? Which free agent quarterback has the best deep ball? Out of Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and Sam Darnold? Probably Sam Darnold, though Russell Wilson in his prime did have one of the prettiest. It was like a helium ball. Like, that ball would come up out of his hands, and the way that he would throw it reminded me of, like, when you were a kid playing Madden. It still might even be this way, but I haven't played video games in so long, that when you would, like, accidentally, like, tap a button, the quarterback would, like, throw the ball up, and it would just, like, that was Russell Wilson back in his heyday. I would say, though, Sam Darnold is the best pure thrower of the football, which is probably why, if he doesn't get tagged, I think we go back to saying Sam Darnold's probably going to be the quarterback of the Raiders again, which is a downgrade from Matthew Stafford, but we'll see what the money ends up looking like. Let's go to my man, 93. What up, Nav? I wanted to say public. I spoke to Kristen. The money sent to her from this family allows her to carry out Tuna's wishes after life. Remain sprinkled in the park with his ducks. Love y'all for that. You are all heroes. I mean, I got to tip my cap to you now, man. You've done a great job kind of taking on this, helper role when there's a lot of other people, that could have also done it, but you deserve a round of applause as well. You've honestly helped me kind of navigate this situation. This is a first for me, and quite frankly, I hope it's the last time that I ever lose a loyal Raiders Report watcher. It's been a very difficult thing. It's actually been something that, I've talked about in the past to people where, the show, the bigger and bigger it gets, the more audience members that you get, sooner or later something like this is going to happen. But I mean this, what you guys did yesterday, what we all did yesterday, I mean this. If you haven't told somebody about it, and I'm not saying you tell somebody to get a pat on the back, that's not it, but we always say on the show, when you put good energy out in the world, good shit happens. In today's day and age, you can't do enough good things to put smiles on people's faces. If you were a part of yesterday's live show, I mean this, pat yourself on the freaking back, tell somebody, because then more people are going to end up doing what we did yesterday. So real quick, if you haven't, I mean this, give yourself a round of applause. Let's go to an OG, Mount Raidamore Ventrack. After Ben Johnson and Stafford, maybe it's time to retire where there's smoke. True fact, you can die from inhaling too much smoke. Yeah, I know I saw a lot of people say, Mitch, bro, you got to stop saying where there's smoke, there's fire. But there was a lot of smoke, right? And I think it's okay to say where there's smoke, there's fire, because there was a fire. And my point is, everything that we talked about with Stafford, everything we talked about with Ben Johnson, there was a lot of truths to that. It just didn't end up going down the way that we thought, or maybe we were hoping it would end up going down. I also said this offseason I would try to be a lot more positive of a person after the year that we went through. So, yeah, you guys can get mad at me, and I don't know if getting mad at me is the right word, but I want to hope, and I need something to hope for. I want the Raiders to be great, just like everybody watching the show wants the Raiders to be great. And I thought Ben Johnson was going to be able to help us do that, so I got excited, and I talked about it a lot. I thought Matthew Stafford was going to be able to help us, so I got excited. I talked about it a lot. When you talk about as much Raiders content as what I do every single day, You need to find ways to be excited about what you're talking about. I'll be real, though. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It ain't going anywhere because, again, there was a lot of smoke around Matthew Stafford. There was, and you can't deny that there wasn't. Let's go to my man, Ed Robbins. What's up, my brother? Fields, McMillan, Scatabo, Bowers, Myers, and Myers. Chip will be in heaven. Well, he'll be next to Brandon Jasper. Tell him I said hello. I'll tell you this, though. I actually don't know if this is the best pairing of players. And I know some people really love Bo Scatabo, but I'm not really going to pair somebody like Bo Scatabo with the Justin Fields. I don't know if Scatabo is actually dynamic enough in the National Football League. He's a good RB2, I would say, and I would still want somebody else to be another compliment back to him. Like, to me, if you're looking for a running back a little bit later in those rounds, and I don't know where Travion Henderson's going to go, I would love to be able to get him in round 3, though I think that you're probably going to have to end up taking him somewhere closer to round 2. McMillan is no doubt the top receiver, but I don't actually think that if I was the Raiders, if I brought in Justin Fields, I don't think that I would target T-Mac at pick number 6 because I would want to be able to establish more of a running game with Justin Fields. I would actually look at potentially an offensive lineman or an Ashton Genty there, and that's coming from me. Like, to me, the only way is I really feel confident about the Raiders drafting Genty, who spoke to the Raiders today at the Combine and actually talked about his conversation he had with Pete Carroll and how they talked about the art of being a running back. I think Ashton Genty and Justin Fields would be fun. That, to me, is the most fun Justin Fields lineup that I can think of. Let's go to my man, Jason Gonzalez. What's up, dude? Maybe we can call up Jay Schrader and see what he's doing. So tired of being gaslit. I don't know who that is. Do you have any idea who that is? Jay Schrader. Is this like an inside joke? Jay Schrader. All right. Old Raiders QB from Malachi Muhammad. I was going to say, it's not spelled right. I was literally like, I don't know who Jay Schrader is. Often on this show, I feel like people try to get us with names, and usually it's honestly, I thought this might have been a WWE name because all the time, Rebel and Chugs, people are always throwing in these names, and I'm like, it's a name, but that's not ringing a bell to me. I thought it was a WWE guy. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go to MDB Super Dave. If they miss on Ward, run with Fields, then sell the farm to get the newest of the GOAT quarterback family, Arch Manning. What if Arch doesn't come out, though, until 2027? You know what I mean? There is a possibility that happens. Arch, there's been a lot of reports that Arch wanted to go with Steve Sarkisian, that he wanted to be able to learn that program, and that's one of the reasons why he chose Texas. I think people just assume Arch is going to come out in 2026, but Arch doesn't need money. You know what I mean? The Manning family doesn't need money. For them, they would probably say, whatever you need to do to be the most prepared to hit the NFL draft, because if you're Arch, you're going to get paid at Texas for one, probably more than what you would get paid to be a rookie in the NFL. I think NIL deals in 2 years from now for somebody like Arch is going to be making $10 million plus a year. And if you know that you can make more money staying at Texas, have an opportunity to win a natty. Now, if they end up winning the natty next year, he might come out in 2026. But I think Arch, if he comes out in 2026 or if he comes out in 2027, is going to be the number 1 overall pick. And unless there is a Joe Burrow type of situation or a Jaden, I don't even know, a situation where some quarterback comes out of absolutely nowhere, lights the world on fire, and then that team ends up winning the natty. I think Arch, when he comes out, will be the number 1 pick. Because I haven't heard somebody talk about a quarterback like this since Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, those types of guys. Let's go to John. What up, man? Mitch, you're live on Friday. I am live on Friday, which, we said yesterday we didn't really plan on doing, and didn't really know exactly if we were going to be able to today because we have a lot of people down at the Combine. We're a little bit lighter on staff today here at Chat Sports, but, luckily because you guys went always show out and show love to us. We were able to go live again, but I want to be able to sit up here, answer some questions, and I'll be real. Once these questions are all gone, once we have gone through all the super chats on today's live show, I'm probably going to hop on out of here, and then I'm going to keep my day going. I still got to film two other videos that you guys will get over the weekend. So, and I'm going to be talking a lot about the combine, and I actually got even more fun interviews that I'm excited to be able to show you guys. Let's go to Nick Sanchez. What's up, fellas? What's your opinion on prospects not working or not wanting to participate in the combine? For example, Shador not throwing. In my opinion, this isn't a good look to teams. Just curious on your thoughts. I could tell you why I love it and why I hate it, right? The reason why I'm okay with it would be this. One, if you're Shador Sanders, obviously you want to make your dad happy and Deion. Deion's trying to build a program at Colorado, right? And if I knew that, where I think Shador is actually the one where I kind of sympathize him for a little bit more, because no disrespect to anybody else at the NFL Combine, Shador is very confident in himself. That's very, very obvious. But I would want to help my dad, right? My dad's my best friend. Shador's best friends with his dad, Deion. That's not a secret. And Deion's probably telling Shador, hey, if you don't throw at the combine, that's more eyeballs at your pro day, which means more eyeballs at the Colorado pro day, which helps us build our program. And then it's also more eyeballs on 4 wide receivers that could be drafted. Like, it just puts more attention on the Colorado program, which if my dad came up to me and asked that, I don't care what you'd think. I don't care what Navman would think. I don't care what Justin would think. I don't care what I think, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm helping my dad and I'm helping building a program that I went to, that's why I don't mind it. The other side of it, though, is this. If you think that you're the best quarterback in the NFL draft, if you think that you're that guy, I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care what the elements are. You go out there and you compete. I want somebody that can compete, and I know the Raiders want somebody that can compete. And if you're not ready every single day, 365, I don't know if you're going to be ready to compete in the NFL to achieve the ultimate goal. That's my take on both sides of that. What up, Jersey boy? It's time for this regime to nut up or shut up, trade up for Ward. I'm with you. Dude, I'm with you, man. Like, I have been on the Cam Ward hype train, and I can proudly say I think I'm the very first person on the Cam Ward hype train. Point blank, period. Stick my flag in him. We were talking about Cam Ward back in last March, last February. And I can remember, and I'll try to go back and find the exact question. Somebody asked me, Mitch, who do you think's, like a quarterback that we should be looking out for? And I said, watch out for a kid from Washington State named Cam Ward. I think he's going to be the next Jaden Daniels, a quarterback that's going to transfer from a small school, get his footing going, and when you see how cool, calm, and collected he is, he's going to be a special player. I said that he could potentially win the Heisman. I said he was the best quarterback in the country. I have been all in on Cam Ward, and I think Cam Ward and Chip Kelly puts this team in an opportunity to win Super Bowls for 10 to 15 years. I don't want to have to give up another first-round pick, but damn it, I think you're crazy if you're the Raiders if you don't try to do it. This is the lowest that trading up to number 1 might ever cost in the history of the NFL draft, and we got to be able to realize that. The Titans want to trade out of it. Neither Cam or Shador wants to go to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are so freaking desperate right now. They tweeted out a picture today of Cam Ward and Shador, which that just doesn't ever happen. I'm team trade up for Cam Ward. It's what I would do if I was in that position. Let's go to Venthrak. Mount Raidermore sure would look sharp with Navman's handsome mug on it. I'm just saying. I mean, Navman, I'm sure, is going to be on the mountain someday. And again, it's not only about doing the money aspect side of it, which is obviously a big portion of it. It's about doing things for other people, and it's about showing up. And Navman's done a lot of beautiful, beautiful things, not only for this channel, not only for, Chat Sports, but doing things for Brandon and his family still to this day. Navman, Dixie Normus just ran a 4.24 cornerback out of Wyoming. Wow, that's a hell of a prospect there. I heard his ball skills are really good, Navman. I heard when he sees a hole, he explodes in it and blows right through it. I mean, Dixie Normus, hell of a prospect right there. How tall is he? He's got some weight to him, maybe a little bit of girth. No? Justin's like, I don't know what I signed up for right now. Though based off of just looking at Justin, I would imagine that he runs a faster 40 time than me. Let's go to Ray Javon, Justin Fields, T-Mac, Trevion Henderson, Scatabo also build the O-line of free agency. I should have applied for the GM. Chugs just flashed me some nipples, so I'm sorry that I was just distracted there for a moment there, Ray. Here's the thing, and I like the idea of being able to build an offensive line of free agency. I mean, I've been a big Mekhi Becton fan. I think Becton with Justin Fields is a phenomenal fitting there overall. I don't want to go Henderson and Scatabo because I think that that's just too many running backs early on in the draft. But if you go out and get Justin Fields, I'd make an argument that building your offensive line is almost just as important as getting a receiver, because if you don't have a good O-line that can run the football 10 to 15 times a game with Fields alone, it's not going to be a recipe for success that you're looking for. Let's go to my man John Hampshire. Would like to have JJ. I think you mean what? JJ McCarthy, but don't see it. See it being Darnold or Fields. Both will help the team. And I agree. I think both will end up helping the team. And I hope that it is either Fields or Darnold instead of somebody like a Russell Wilson. J.J. McCarthy, though, I was actually talking to somebody who's at the Combine right now, very, very well tapped in, Vikings guy. Shout out to Thor. And he was kind of telling me, like, yeah, it sounds like that they're not going to franchise tag Sam Darnold, that, that they're going to end up looking to just keep J.J. McCarthy and let Darnold hit the open market. What's interesting about that, though, if the Vikings are unwilling to tag him, that's $41 million. If I'm the Raiders and I see that they're unwilling to put a one-year, $41.3 million deal, that's actually easier than to go up to Darnold and go, well, usually when you get a one-year deal, it's worth a little bit more. If your own team, who just saw you play for an entire year, is not willing to give you $41 million on a one-year deal, then I'm not also going to be willing to do that. So I actually think if the Vikings say no, and with all the rumors that came out around it, I do think that you might be able to get Sam Darnold a lot closer to $35 million a year than what people legitimately realize. And who knows, it might even go lower and lower than that, because the less and less opportunities that are out there for starting quarterbacks, if Darnold wants to take advantage of the year that he just had, he's going to also want to try to go to an opportunity to start, which also might mean less money for him down the road. So out of these three options, because it was reported by Adam Schefter that these are the top three options for the Raiders after missing out on Matthew Stafford: Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Sam Darnold. Out of those names, I'm going to give some shout-outs here in just a moment. Out of those names, though, who would you want? And if you're sitting up here going, I don't want any of them, unfortunately, I need you to pick one, because the Raiders will end up picking one of these three quarterbacks early in the offseason process. So RW for Russell Wilson, JF for Justin Fields, or SD for Sam Darnold. Let me know some of those answers down below. I see Patrick B. What up, my man? Sam Darnold, Justin Fields from Nabman. Raider Mike or Yoda Jenkins going with Fields. LB, I see you rocking with Fields. Eric, Isabel, Andy, Braylon, Elijah. A lot of Justin Fieldses down below. We've got more questions to get to here on the Raiders Report. And again, as soon as the Super Chats stop, as soon as the hashtag Raiders stop, I am going to hop on out of here. Wow, breaking news. Joel Embiid done for the season. I mean, that's not surprising at all. It has nothing to do with football. But, I mean, that's some pretty big news. I don't watch the NBA all that often, but soft. Effed. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I feel like Joel Embiid is the 7-foot version of the guy from SpongeBob that everything's made of glass. Are you SpongeBob? Okay. How old are you? Wait, really? I did not know that. I'm mind blown. I thought you were young. You're an old man. Old man here. Dude, I am freaking mind blown. You know what also blows my mind? PrizePicks. I love using PrizePicks, and you can get $50 when you play $5 over with our sponsor, PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. It's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. If you don't know how old Justin is, you could have gone more, you could have gone less, or if you enjoy the Combine, maybe we're going to watch some 40 times. I know we try to do a lot of 40s here, but it's usually with liquid. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. And again, if anybody plans on watching the Combine, just like me, you can make it a lot more interesting. And I was looking at Isaiah Bond. He was saying something that he's going to run a 4-1. If you say you're going to run a 4-1 and you run a 4-3, that's kind of lame. You know what I mean? Like a 4-3 is unbelievable, Justin. It's unbelievable. But if you say you're going to run a 4-1, 4-3 looks kind of lame. Yeah? There's a chance. Okay. Oh, man. Well, you can't say where there's smoke, there's fire anymore. So, Wisconsin State punter. Wisconsin State punter Peter goes Inya hit an 80-yard punt at the Combine. Let's go WSU. Let's go Seaman. There's no way that this is I actually don't know what's more made up. Is there actually a Wisconsin State? I have no idea. I mean, I know there's a state named Wisconsin. This Peter name, I'll tell you what, that's a hell of a name. That would be a Raiders jersey. Like, I remember a few years ago we wanted the Raiders to go out and get Malik Hooker because we were like, dude, Hooker jersey in Vegas is going to sell super well. This Peter guy, if A.J. Cole struggles punting, it could be an option. Let's go to John, please, for Cam Ward. My question to you would be this. Are you okay giving up, let's say, number 6 overall pick right now? You also give up your second-round pick, and then let's say you also have to give up a 4th-round pick. Your first, your second, and your 4th. I actually think that might be enough, and I know that might scare some people away. But if I would have asked you back in December, back in November, back in October, hey, if all of it cost was the Raiders' first, second, and a 4th-round pick to go get Cam Ward, to go get any quarterback that you wanted, I actually think that everybody here watching the show would have done it. And I want draft picks too, but I'm okay moving on from the 2nd-round pick because you got 2/3, right? Having 2/3 obviously isn't having a second, but you can still find value in that. And then you got 3-6, which again, I'm not trying to use all 6 or all 3 of those 6. If it was up to me, I would try to package maybe 2 of those picks, maybe your 5th-round pick, and then I would try to move back into round 4 if you were very concerned about moving on from some of those top 100, top 125 players overall. But also, if you're Pete Carroll, you've made your bread and butter finding guys in the later rounds. And if you know that you've made your bread and butter finding guys in the later rounds and you got to trade up to go get your guy now, I think Pete would do it, man. Let's go to Alex. I'm a Miami fan, but Cam Ward is legit. Are you saying, like, I feel like by you saying but, you're a Raiders fan, but you're also a Miami Hurricanes fan? Or are you saying you're a Dolphins fan, but Cam Ward is legit? Cam Ward is legit, and one of my favorite qualities about him, he's got it up here. I need a quarterback that no matter what the situation is, cool, calm, and collected. It's what I loved about Jaden. It's what I love about Cam Ward, and I'm telling you this right now. If you put the mind of Chip Kelly with the athletic ability and just the ability to chuck the football in Cam Ward, that would be a special, special duo. What's up, Rebel? I believe in Joe Hendry, that inhaling the smoke. I think Joe Hendry something involves 2 claps. That's a WWE guy. It is. And I still don't. Joe Hendry could stand. He could be standing right here, and I wouldn't know who it is. But Chugs and Rebel and everybody else that watches WWE always tries to get me with these type of names. Let's go to Carlo D. Fernandez. What's up, my man? Fields, AOC, and a rookie, Sanders, Dart, or Milrow. I don't think that's going to be the plan anymore. And the only reason why that I say this is because if you go out and you get Fields, you got AOC, right? That's your backup. Maybe the Raiders still considering signing or drafting one of those guys. But it sounds like this team, like for them to consider trading for Matthew Stafford really, really shows me that they are going all in this year. If you draft one of these quarterbacks, you're technically not going all in this year because you could use one of those QBs to potentially build your roster on offense or on defense to help somebody like Justin Fields. A lot of stuff can change, no doubt about it. And maybe the Raiders are able to build and rebuild through free agency a lot better than what some of us already think that they can do. Lots going to happen, but I really thought the Raiders were no doubt going to draft a quarterback this season. When you see some of the reports that are coming out, like Diana Rossini had a report, it should be moved over in the quote graphics section. It was a report of, this Raiders coaching staff doesn't love the idea of drafting a quarterback. And it was, if they end up drafting a QB, it's a quarterback, and from what it sounds like, it's going to be a QB that gets drafted, very early. So, I don't know if it's that one. Nope. Go back to the other one. Sorry, I'm looking at it on the other screen. Nope, not that one. Yeah, that one. All right, so here was a report from Diana Rossini on Stafford. There are members of the Raiders' offensive coaching staff who prefer adding a proven veteran quarterback to taking a dice roll on a rookie quarterback. The 2025 draft class isn't perceived to be deep at QB, and there's a chance that the only options worth drafting in the first round will be gone by the time the Raiders are on the clock. When I look at that report from Diana Rossini, I think of the Raiders got their eyes on Shador Sanders and Cam Ward because those are the only two quarterbacks that I think legitimately could be picked by the time the Raiders are on the clock at number 6, right? Unless they are also referring to pick number 37, which there is a chance Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe are gone before then, though I think Dart's more likely than somebody like Milroe. But if that report came out and everything that happened around Stafford, and we know this team's trying to win right now, I know that this team's going to bring in a QB this offseason. I thought that there was a chance they would draft one. I really don't know if they're going to draft a QB now. Let's go to Nabman. Embiid is I can't say that because Embiid doesn't have 26 allegations against him being a complete piece of shit, right? On top of that, I think Deshaun Watson is 100 times worse. Maybe you're just saying in terms of money and those guys never playing. I don't really know, but let's get Justin Fields in the quarterback room with Chip Kelly. Kelly thrived with mobile quarterbacks. Kelly's thrived with almost every type of quarterback that he has worked with in his system. And I did a video probably now about 3 weeks ago about my Raiders' perfect free agency plan, perfect offseason plan. And that involved being able to get Justin Fields. And I even said in that video, when I first did it, I planned on signing Sam Darnold. And I went through and I had Sam Darnold signed and I had all the moves that I would make. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't know if I can call it perfect. Like, I don't know if I can call like this a great offseason. It's a good one. Then I did the exact same video with Justin Fields. And the roster that I was able to build with Justin Fields was much better than the roster that I was able to build with Sam Darnold. And don't get me wrong, I think Darnold is a better thrower of the football. But if you bring in Sam Darnold or Justin Fields, neither of those quarterbacks is going to be the reason why you win a Super Bowl. It's going to be the team around them. So I would want to build the most complete process, the best team to help make that quarterback shine. And I'll tell you this, you can do everything right. You might not be able to slow down Justin Fields if he's able to click because Fields is a Ferrari. The car doesn't have any tires and the driver's been shit. But if we can figure out that Chip Kelly's the perfect driver for that Ferrari, watch out for Justin Fields. Let's go to Goots. New pick, Goots. Where do you rank Cam in last year's quarterback draft class? I'd rank him 4 for me personally. And again, I wasn't as high on J.J. McCarthy. I wasn't high on Bo Nix. I liked Michael Penix Jr., but I would have ranked Cam Ward at number 4. I had Jaden at 1 for the Raiders. Again, when I do my quarterback rankings, I only do it for the Raiders. Like, I don't care to break down. Like, I had Drake May as my number 1 overall prospect, but no disrespect to Drake May, I only care about the Raiders. So it was Jaden Daniels was number 1, Caleb Williams was number 2, Drake May was number 3, and then I would put Cam Ward on that list at number 4. But it can come down to fit where, like, if you told me right now looking at fit, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Cam Ward, all with Chip Kelly. I mean, I think Cam Ward, you can make an argument, is just as good as any of those guys outside of Jaden with Chip. Let's go to Raj. What up, Raj? Dumbest thing the Raiders can do is sign Aaron Rodgers. Whew, boy. I think it would depend how much money it is, right? And if Rodgers was willing to play on a $1.2 million deal, which I don't think would end up happening, right? Then I don't think that you could say that that's the dumbest thing. I think you're just simply saying it's dumb because I expect Rodgers, who's been a cancer everywhere he's gone, and I don't want to hear Mitch stop throwing around the cancer word when referring to Rodgers. I've lost a lot of people in my life to cancer, and I don't use that word lightly, but let's also be adults here. Aaron Rodgers has been a flippin' cancer to his own family and to the New York Jets, right? But if Rodgers was willing to show me that he's willing to put the team first and he's willing to take a lot less money, that way we can build something special, I'm willing to entertain the idea. But I don't want to pay Aaron Rodgers more than $20 million a year, more than $25 million a year. That doesn't make any sense to me. And if you go out and you get Rodgers, then I do think that you have to draft a quarterback because I need a long-term plan. And I know that Rodgers is not a long-term plan type of option. Like, I mean, Rodgers compared to Matthew Stafford, Stafford is way better. Hell, I might make an argument that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback right now than Aaron Rodgers. And I know Darnold was in a good situation with Kevin O'Connell. I know they had a lot of good talent around him in Minnesota. And I get he's only done it for 1 year and 1 year only. But throwing for 35 touchdowns in the NFL is not a fluke. Like, you don't just randomly do that and be like, that guy's trash. Even if he takes a little bit of a step back, if Darnold were to throw for 26 touchdowns next season on the Raiders, we'd sit up here and we'd go, wow, that's really good. Like, I think if you actually put Sam Darnold's numbers on screen and said that Derek Carr did this for the Raiders, people would say, we got to pay Derek Carr $60 million a year. But because it's Sam Darnold, people don't like the idea as much. MDB, what up, my man? After all the smoke around Ben Johnson, we ended up the best coaching staff we could imagine. Hopefully this turns into a trend. Cam Ward will be a Raider. And you know what, bro? This is the mentality that you got to carry. And, you know, I said the exact same thing. Chugs is back. God bless you. This is the mentality that you got to have where it was a kick in the nuts when the Raiders lost out on Ben Johnson. We can agree on that. But I could also say this. If you would have told me, do I want Ben Johnson and his staff that he would have brought in, or do I want Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Patrick Graham, the regime that we've been able to build? Man, like, I'm not kidding you. I can make an argument that that's a better regime. And this is going to be a team that you're going to swing and miss in professional sports. You're going to swing and miss in life. It's how you bounce back. I'm not going to hit the panic button on Matthew Stafford because this is an organization that has already shown you this offseason that they had a swing and a miss, and damn it, and holy shit, did they bounce back. This is the right mentality, and I think that that's what we got to do. It sucks, but we still got to move on and keep this train going. Appreciate you, man. Also, I seriously hope you feel better. Lakers, dialysis sucks. Lakers 2550. If we don't get a quality free agent quarterback, I feel we be reaching in the draft this year. Good day, Mr. Renz. How old are you, right? I mean, Mr. Renz. Also, did you know that Justin is older than you? Older than you. 29. I'll say he's older than you. My mind was blown. I thought he was like the newbies' ages. Well, not quite that. I know he's got documentation, but not quite that. I would say this. The Raiders are still going to get somewhat of a quality quarterback where they're going to upgrade at QB this offseason. Justin Fields is an upgrade over Aidan O'Connell. Russell Wilson is an upgrade over Aidan O'Connell. Sam Darnold is an upgrade over Aidan O'Connell. As long as they don't pay those guys outlandish money, it is an upgrade at the quarterback position. And you're right. If they don't have a QB, they could reach on draft day a little bit too much. But that's not going to happen. The Raiders are going to have another quarterback on this roster by draft day. I guarantee you the Raiders are going to have a quarterback on their roster definitely by March 15th, I think that we could know who the starting quarterback of the Raiders is by March 12th, 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is the technical start of free agency. But that legal tampering period, the 48 hours prior, we're going to know a lot before then. I would say, I mean, we'll be live, obviously, on that new league year day. We'll know by that day, I think, who the Raiders starting quarterback is going to be. Let's go to the new Kingsman. What up, dude? I understand that Sam Darnold had a good season, but what I saw in the playoffs, I was not convinced. Cam Ward and Justin Fields should be the only option. I don't want people to just watch one game, and I get it. The last 2 games for Sam Darnold were bad. But we're talking about 2 bad games. But then he also still threw for 35 touchdowns. Like, throughout the entirety of the season, the Minnesota Vikings, a team that not a lot of people thought were going to be a very good football team, the Vikings, I don't even know if thought that Sam Darnold was going to play the way that he did. And he still ended up chucking for 35 touchdowns. So, like, I don't want to just look at one game sample size and be like, this guy's not a good quarterback. I don't want anything to do with him. I do think that Cam Ward and Justin Fields, based on, price, is probably a little bit of a better option. But I can also say that I think Sam Darnold, should want to play for the Raiders. When you look at everything John Spytek, Pete Carroll have done for journeyman quarterbacks, every single QB that has been in a Chip Kelly regime has succeeded. If I was Darnold, I would want to go play for the Raiders. I think the Raiders are the perfect destination for Sam Darnold. The question is Sam Darnold the perfect quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders? And that one's a big TBD. Ventrack. So who's going to be our wide receiver 1? Brock Bowers, right? And I know that's an eye roll because he's the tight end. You got Jacoby Myers. You got Brock Bowers. I would say the most likely option that could be added to that, if you're looking for a legit one, Chris Godwin could be an option. DK Metcalf trade could be an option. Metcalf, actually, a lot of trade rumors around him today, though some might say that if you got blocked on Twitter, that's more of an important topic. I would then also say somebody like T-Mac could also be a top wide receiver that you could look at. But there's a lot of good receivers in this year's class. I like Luther Burden. I don't know why his stock is falling. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I do find it weird that this was somebody who... A limited route tree? I mean, 5'11" is... If you can run routes. I guess if you think that it's limited route tree. Yeah, I'm... Interesting. Yeah. Is what I've heard from people. Okay, I got you. Let's go to... What up, Gunny? What is happening? Just watched your Stafford video and noticed you were live on Friday. What is the news? I mean, the news was Stafford going to the Rams, but then Schefter reported that the Raiders now are turning their attention to Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, and Russell Wilson, which were all names that we kind of expected. I know the video that you're talking about, I didn't have Russell Wilson technically in that 10 list of quarterbacks, though I do say in the video, I realized, as soon as I saw the list, I was like, where's Russell Wilson? I was doing the mental math, and I was like, he's got to be in the top 4. Yeah, maybe he did. I also put out a tweet before the Adam Schefter report of the top 4 quarterbacks options for the Raiders are Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold, and Cam Ward. So, I knew very well that those were the top 4 options, but that's the news. The Raiders are looking at those 3. Now they're not looking at Stafford. Obviously, he's staying in Los Angeles, and I had just had so many people asking me questions. They were like, what should we do? What are the Raiders going to do? Chugs looked at me. I looked at Justin. We got a lot of stuff moving on in the background here at Chat Sports. Today's been a super, super busy, crazy day. But, I mean, again, when people are asking me the amount of questions I was getting asked in my DMs, I just said, we got to go live. We got to talk about it. What up, Evo? Hope we make the Super Bowl and play the Bears or Rams for obvious reasons, or the Niners, because that would be the most electric Super Bowl ever. People, yeah, I mean, I hate that last part might be true. If the Raiders and Niners played in a Super Bowl, it would be unsafe. This also could be a big reason why Matthew Stafford decided to stay in Los Angeles. According to Jordan Schultz, left tackle Alaric Jackson has agreed to a 3-year, $57 million deal with $35 million guaranteed, keeping him in Los Angeles to protect Matthew Stafford. I mean, that could be, again, one of those little options where You know, if you're Stafford, you're looking at the Raiders' offensive line right now, and you're going, there's a lot of unknowns. I know, but Glaze is, come on. Glaze is an option at right tackle, but it's not an option that you feel confident about. It's an option you're hopeful about, but it's not an option you're confident about. And I think maybe that could have added to it with, Matthew Stafford. Let's go to the Wolfman. What up, Nathan? Playing catch up on your videos. The amount of videos that we have put out this week, actually, I think in the last 48 hours, we're close to 50 videos, shorts included. Yes, maybe 40. I mean, VODs alone, in the last 48 hours, we're at like 10, which is just a crazy amount of videos. And then you add all the shorts into that, lots and lots of videos to be caught up on. Had some personal stuff happen. I'm sorry, dude. You don't got to explain anything. Watching the report, connecting with the nation makes it better. Takes my mind off the BS. Stafford would have been the cherry on top. And, again, we still got a long offseason to go. There's still a lot of good things that can happen. And, like, if you told me right now, Mitch, you're going to go through a Ben Johnson issue, you're going to go through a Matthew Stafford issue, but you're going to be able to get Cam Ward and you're going to be able to get Chip Kelly, it's all worth it. It all would have been worth it to me. I do know this. You can always vent here, and I hope that whatever you're dealing with, it gets better.
It's like that one song.
Can you, I was actually going to ask, can you just take over for like 60 seconds? I just got to go refill my water.
Yeah.
I've been talking so much today, I feel dehydrated. I just need to drink some water.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
It's like that, I was going to say, it's like that one song by Rascal Flatts. God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. Every Ben Johnson and Matthew Stafford led me to Pete Carroll and maybe Cam Ward. Mavman. Sorry for that, for people who didn't want to hear me sing on a glorious Friday, almost the weekend. Here we go. He said, this could have been one of the worst QB classes we have ever seen in the 10 years or more. I would say no, because you still have the Kenny Pickett class where it was Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Will Levis. That class sucked. I think this class is better than that, but I digress. Probably still not a great class. He said, no reason to sell the house on this. Trust the process. I think we have to build elsewhere and know we were aggressive for once in free agency. Tuna! Giuseppe says, my wife loves that song. Oh, dude, yeah. Every long lost thing led me to where you are. Those who broke my heart, they were like northern stars.
I always wonder how many random, I bet you there was one person that's never seen this YouTube channel before, was just scrolling on YouTube, and they were like, oh, wow, Raiders quarterback drama. I'll click on that. And it's just chugs.
God bless the broken road that led me to Pete Carroll.
I think I clicked on the wrong thing. That would be funny. Oh, man.
Every Ben Johnson report from Vinny B happened to be wrong.
Is my mic off?
No, your mic's on.
Is it? All right. I don't know. I saw somebody say the mic's off, but...
You didn't like the Vinny B?
The what?
Every Vinny report...
Yeah, I can't do that one.
Ray, AP said it best only talk about people who want to be a Raider. Goodbye, then. Goodbye, Ben and Sam.
They're saying my mic's off, or it sounds like it's in a tunnel.
Go ahead.
What about now? Testing. Mitchell Renz, Raiders report. Ray Javon. AP said it best. Yeah. Only talk about people who wants to be a Raider. Goodbye, Ben. Peace out, Sam. But, Mitch, honestly, do you think Pittsburgh lets Fields walk?
Yeah. The new guy was in here, and he was messing with all the
stuff?
All the stuff on here.
Oh, okay.
I think I got you sounding better, though.
Yeah? And we're good now?
Is that better? Is that better, Chad?
I mean, in all honesty, I do really think that Pittsburgh lets Fields go. I mean, their fans are going to be upset. But when you listen to a lot of the reports coming out of Pittsburgh, I kind of think that Aaron Rodgers might go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's between Russell Wilson and somebody like Aaron Rodgers for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just based on some of the reports that we have heard from the Combine. And again, I think about how much shit we've gotten from the Combine with our team being down there this week.
Yeah.
And already how much it's changed. Right? I mean, we were joking about it today. Like, there was a report today from the Combine that, again, it's Giants, Raiders are the two front runners for Matthew Stafford.
Abdul Carter went from being the number 1 pick, and now it's like, is he going to fall all the way to the outside the top 5? I mean, I know probably not.
I still don't think he does, but I know this, man. I really, really think that Fields is an option, and he's probably the option that gives us the best chance overall to just build that great roster. And think about how often Pete Carroll has said that in his press conference. He said it again at the Combine, where it's not just about finding a quarterback. It's about finding a quarterback that you can build around in the best way possible. I mean, that's why the Seahawks were so effective. And then once Wilson kind of got the wheels rolling a little bit, then he was able to turn into that veteran quarterback. And just like anything in life, like, you know, I'm going on year 7 now doing this as a job, or maybe it's even year 8. The first year I did it, I struggled because it's a new job. Year 8 now, we're almost a well-oiled machine, and that's how I like to think of it. If you're a quarterback like Russell Wilson, by the time you're in year 8, you've dealt with a lot of stuff. You've seen a lot of different stuff.
Emphasis on well-oiled.
Well-oiled machine. Jersey boy, well-oiled greaser. If we do get Ward, who will be wide receiver 1? How do you feel about reconnecting Cam with Restrepo? I like him a lot. He's a little bit older of a slot receiver. I don't mind the idea. Like, if Cam Ward was like, hey, could we potentially get Restrepo in round 3, round 4? Cool, let's do it. Let's run it. But I don't know exactly how he's going to test. I don't know if I actually anticipate that he's going to test all that well. Another receiver that you might be able to get in round 7 is Sam Brown, and F. Sam's down below. But that's somebody else that you could potentially bring in. Maybe even like the tight end from Miami as another option, which he's going to go a lot higher, so it might not make sense to take him as your tight end 3. But I don't mind people bringing in pass receivers that know Cam Ward, because then I want that receiver to be able to talk to some of our guys, even if it's a Jacoby Myers, and say, hey, this is what Cam likes, this is what Cam doesn't, this is what we did last season. That's all good with me. But the true number 1, you could find him in free agency. You could find him maybe in the draft. I would say if you're the Raiders and you have the mentality that you want to find a veteran quarterback, you probably also want to try to find another veteran option to put out there at that receiving market. No, who's Sabrina Carpenter? Maybe if I've seen it. I'm sure I've heard Alex listen to a song like that once or twice. Alex is the type of person where she's got all these, like, if anybody wants to listen to, like, Alex's playlists, like music that Alex and I share a Spotify. We just do. So a lot of the music that I listen to, it'll be like recommended for you. No, we both can listen. We both can listen, but we just like share the account. Anyway, now I kind of forget where I was going with this. Oh, if you want to like listen to anything that Alex's playlists are, her top listen playlist is called Litty Titty. You look up Spotify, Alex, I think it's Alex Sophia Litty Titty. There you go. You can listen to her playlist. Though there's some other playlists in there that maybe you guys shouldn't see. What up, Pork Chop? Oh, I know. Hey, we do it too. Mitch, I don't know if it's true. I've heard something about Kyler Murray being on the block. Is that true, and would that be worth looking into? It would absolutely, positively be worth looking into. Like, Kyler Murray in a Chip Kelly offense would be really, really fun and entertaining. There is no doubt about that. I just don't actually think Kyler Murray is on the market. Like, I to be real with you, if he was, we would have heard a lot more about it. That game was what, deal last year or 2 years ago? I don't remember exactly when it was, but I don't think that that's going to end up happening. They also drafted a receiver super high last year to pair with Kyler Murray 2 years ago. Yeah, no, you're right. Now, man, Stafford said sign him and we are good. I see it. I do think that the Alaric Jackson was probably one of those moves, again, where they're trying to figure out a few little odds and ends, and Stafford said, hey, if I'm going to be willing to take a little bit less money with the Rams, I want you to go pay this guy. This is who I want to protect my side. Alaric Jackson, 3 for 57. God, family, Raiders for life. Mitch, I sent a surprise package to Chat Sports. ETA is March 3rd. Also, F. Matthew Chuchford for using us to get more money in L.A., break a leg in L.A., bitch. It did, though. It did. I'll be on the lookout for the package. Greatly appreciate it. I've actually been using a lot. I know Ed Robbins, he sent me Ed didn't send me this one. This is the one Gabriel sent me. I use Ed's at my desk, and this is the one that I use in here. It holds a little bit more water, but anytime you guys send us anything, obviously I try to use it as much as I possibly can, but it's always greatly appreciated. We got 714 people here in the building. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Please make sure you do so right now. We're going to keep on going through some questions here. I wanted to go live, talk about some of this Raiders quarterback drama. If we don't get any more questions or comments, it's all good. Chugs and I can just hop on out of here. I do have a few extra videos that I have to do. We're going to do those, after live? Is that the plan? All right, I'll ask you all. Do we do 2 segments here live, or do you just want to see them over the weekend? It's totally, no matter what, I got to do them. Wait, say that again? Can they hear you? All right, Chug said if we get 3 bangs, he's doing a boot, and we'll do the 2 segments live. You're going to do a boot. I'm not drinking today. I'm not drinking today. I will have some drinks tomorrow. Tomorrow is actually Alex's and I's 5th anniversary. It's crazy. Though our anniversary is February 29th. So you can pick. She always thinks that we should have the anniversary celebration the 28th and the 1st. But to me, I don't think we should celebrate on the 28th because it's not our anniversary. I think to me it's either the 29th or it's the 1st. How would you look at it? Do you think I'm right or is she right? All right, touche. Chuck said she is the woman. So I guess that makes her right. That's funny, man. Oh, wait, did we answer that one? Raj Gaines, have you seen the back and forth with Cam and Shador? Yeah, I think it's just fun competition where, they know that they're going to go out there, they're going to compete against each other. I will say this, watch a football come out of Cam Ward's hands and then watch a football come out of Shador Sanders' hands. It's different, and you can say what you want, it's totally different. When you watch that velocity come out, it is noticeably different. I know Shador's accurate, and he's got a lot of good intangibles that you look for, but then you also got to just consider arm talent. And arm talent, Shador's probably got some of the weaker arm talent that you've seen from a quarterback that could go in round 1. Like, people are going to bet on Shador's accuracy, being able to throw guys open, and the mentality he has. Because I'll tell you this right now, I don't know if there's a more confident quarterback that I have seen at the Combine than Shador Sanders. I mean, he is the clips we're getting, the notes that our team is sending us, and it's all Shador's extremely confident. We'll see how it ends up panning out. You gotta be good in the NFL to get it done. But I like the back and forth. I like competition. Let's go to John. Do you like it if the NFL replaced onside kick with fourth?
Instead of an onside, it's going to be like 4th and 15 from your 30.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't mind it. Actually, the thing that I hate about the onside kick rule right now is, it can only be done in the 4th quarter.
And
I hate that. I hate when strategy gets taken out of the realm of possibility.
And it can't be a surprise anymore. Like the surprise onside kick is gone. It's never going to happen.
Like how can you take away something that allowed a team to win a Super Bowl? If that rule would have been in place, the New Orleans Saints would have never won that Super Bowl because of that onside kick they had at halftime. I don't like when you take strategy and allowing a coach to be a coach out of the possibilities.
The only thing I hate about this is imagine how pissed you'd be, Raider fan, right? You're up by 13. The team you're playing against scores a touchdown. They do the 4th down play where it's 4th and 15, and it's a pass interference call, and they get a first down.
See, that would be the only thing where then it would just be 4th and 10.
And it's a questionable call.
Yeah.
Because it's like if it's an automatic first down on a questionable defensive pass interference, you're going to get pissed.
Oh, God, yeah. No doubt. I would say it's got to be like there has to be a rule in there where if that ends up happening, you just replay it.
You can't
every time people are just grabbing.
And that's the other thing. If it's like no automatic first down, then wouldn't it just be like if there's an open guy about to catch it, wouldn't the defender just grab him and pull him down?
True. Somebody just said Joe Burrow has a noodle arm. Joe Burrow doesn't have a rocket ship, but Burrow's arm's better than Shador's.
He's got a Chevy.
Mario, which Raider quarterback, past or present, to sign right now? Into the cup. I mean, if I could sign any quarterback right now, I don't know if I would go with Gannon, LaMonica. All right, this is a joke, but you know what would be fun? Terrell Pryor with Chip Kelly. You tell me right now, think about it. Terrell Pryor, put him at QB, draft Ashton Genty, spread offense with Chip Kelly. I don't know why. That's the first thing that came to my mind, and it's not what I would do, but it would be fun to watch. Terrell can't throw a football, but man, oh man, could they run the rock. In all honesty, I would take 2016 Derek Carr if you told me he's not going to get injured, because that's the last true caliber MVP that we had at the quarterback position, and it sucks that he got hurt. But if you give me 2016 Derek Carr with Chip Kelly, let's freaking run it, man. I'm ready for it. Dr. K, what's up, man? I'm not going to lie. I'm a little let down. I shouldn't have got my hopes up for something nice. Hard loving the Raiders this last decade. Love you, end of the nation. And I think that, a lot of people were frustrated by the Stafford news because we want to be excited, and this is a fan base that deserves to be excited. And we've been kind of, waiting around for quite some time to be excited. But we got to keep on moving on. It's the offseason. I'll tell you this. If you're a Raiders fan and you don't have a good time in the offseason, it's going to be a long year, man. It's going to be a long year. Alley-oop! MBD Super Dave. He wants it live. As for T-Mac, I did a mock draft, traded back, was able to get McMillan, Henderson, and Leonard as a TP quarterback. I'm actually trying to figure out what TP, temporary practice squad, with that number 6 pick. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, tush push. I don't need Riley Leonard to be a tush-push QB. Quite frankly, after watching him in the Natty, that's not a tush-push QB I want. I don't think he's big enough, quite frankly, to do it. That's hella hilarious, but hey, he already threw one up. That's half of a bang right there. Half of a bang right there, and we do our 2 segments live. I do like the idea of McMillan. And if you're the Raiders and you're not sold on, let's say, taking Sanders at number 6, and if you, let's say, get a Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, whatever, if you're not sold on taking a quarterback at number 6, I'm okay with you trading back. And you might not get as much as what you originally would have gotten in some other past years, but I'm okay trading back. I am. I want the Raiders to be able to build this thing and build it the right way. Herman. Time to put on your co-GM hats, Renz and Chugs. If you're the Raiders' senior vice president and you owned the first 5 picks, who would you take? So you're saying the first 5 picks for the Raiders? I mean, it just depends who's available. All right, how about this? Ready? Watch this.
Here we go. I'm doing a mock right now.
I was just going to say, I'm going to do a PFF mock draft.
I'm doing it right now for me. I'm doing it.
All right. I don't want to have to go through and scroll through a bunch of names, so whoever the top 5 guys that are best available, that's what we go with.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me reset it then.
All right, so Chugs is about to do a mock draft. You guys ready? We're about to rock out with our mocks out here.
So I guess it would only be the first 4 rounds if we're doing the first 5 picks.
Yeah, that's fine. First 5 picks. That's pick 6, 37, 68, 71, 107.
I've got it.
All right.
Pick 6.
Who are our top 5 options?
T-Mac, Ashton Genty. I don't agree with this one. Tyler Warren, Jahdae Barron, or Josh Simmons, the tackle from Ohio State.
Will Campbell's gone?
Will Campbell went the pick right before us.
All right, so there you go. Out of those picks, who are you going with? I think the next thing we got to figure out, though, before you do any mock, who's the quarterback? Herman, you did this mock. We're doing this mock because of you. Herman, who's the QB? Because that's going to change my answer.
Shador still is on the board.
Shador is still on the board.
Shador. Do we go Shador?
Who's the quarterback?
I don't think we have a quarterback right now.
Who's the quarterback, Herman? If you're still here, is it Sam Darnold or Justin Fields? Blinky says Darnold. Dan says Darnold. I would say right now, if I honestly had to guess which one I think is more likely as a QB option.
We can go Shador at 6 if you
I
want.
actually don't think that they're going to pick Shador at 6. I really, really don't, man. I really don't. All right, I'm seeing a lot of Fields. Let's just say Justin Fields is our quarterback. Justin Fields is the Raiders quarterback in this mock draft.
I'm going T-Mac.
T-Mac, Genty, I think are your top 2 options.
T-Mac, Genty, Tyler Warren. If you're going the
they're not going to go
most
Warren.
Insane tight end room of all time.
Right, they're not going to go Warren. I mean, I'll tell you what, it would be fun. Tyler Warren, you'd have to trade Michael Mayer.
That's fine.
I think Mayer's a lot better than what people think. I would want them to see Mayer.
All right, so we going T-Mac?
I think I see more Genties, quite frankly. King Zay says we need a wide receiver 1. Anthony said display the draft. We actually don't have the system to set it up to do that right now. Tough call. First super chat we get, it's yours.
Technically, I could.
You could?
Do you want me to?
I mean, if you can, give it a whirl.
To,
I just don't know how it would be done.
It'll probably be the same mock. Hold on. PFF. Mock draft.
All right, Chugs is going to try to do it on his end here real quick. So, I'll make a poll. We'll start doing this type of stuff too in the off season. By the way.
Hold on 1 second.
Make the pick. All right. Genty or T-Mac. All right. I just started the poll. Whatever that, you guys can go vote. Genty or T-Mac. That's where we're gonna go. Whoever gets more votes, that's where we're gonna go. Live poll at the very, very top. We're doing a quick little mock draft here.
All right. Here we go.
Quick little mock.
So
rocking out with the mock out. Jansen said, mailbag. At this point, I think we're just going to go through all the questions, and then we're going to hop on out of here. We said that we would do 2 segments live if you guys wanted. It just didn't really seem like that. That's kind of what you guys wanted, which is totally fine. I've been live. I was live yesterday, you know what I mean? Like, we went pretty crazy yesterday. Which that just means the 2 segments that we would have filmed live, you guys will just get those over the weekend, which is all good. It's going to be, one is a combine segment, and then the other one is some interviews that we got from the combine. So just like our chat sports team is actually at the combine, so we were able to, sit down with Jackson Dart. We were able to sit down with Cam Ward, Shador Sanders. They say some pretty cool stuff about the Raiders. So we don't typically do that type of stuff on these shows. But with our team at the Combine, we just got some clips on that. So those would be the 2 shows that we would do. But it's all good. Jonathan. What up, Jonathan? All right, so right now, Chugs, 60% of the votes are for Genty. 40 are for T-Mac. Got 121 votes are in.
I'm trying to set it up where it's that same.
I mean, if it's not, it is what it is.
Yeah, they keep on wanting to take T-Mac for our pick now that I switched over to this one.
All right, last chance. Let's just go with that. Or do one more. I don't know what to tell you. We're trying to rerun the mock draft. That way we can get it set up the same way.
They are just nuts.
One more time. Here we go. King Zay, T-Mac said he knows some people on our staff. Oh, I know. He knows a lot of people on our staff. That's literally what he said. All right. All right. Looks like we're going to have to switch it up. I think, though, you could just go with Ashton Genty. He ended up getting it.
People want Genty? Okay.
People want Genty. We're going to go with Genty.
All right.
So Genty is the pick here, which we're going to be able to show you up on screen. Just give us 1 second. I actually would love to figure out a way how we could make our own mock draft database thing. That way we could use it more. I mean, we have so much draft stuff all the time. We got to talk to Tom. Tom, I want you to make your own mock draft. Get all your own rankings in there. We'll do it like that.
All right. Here we go. I'll just do a little crop, a little bit more.
I'm watching Chugs do this on the other side. This is interesting. This is pretty interesting. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of a mock draft here for Herman, and then we're going to answer a few more questions, and then we'll hop on out of here. All right, here's the mock.
All right, people wanted Genty, so we'll go Genty.
People wanted Genty. Let's go Genty. All right, pick 37 now. Raiders are on the clock. Who are we going with?
You have Justin Fields.
Yep. We have Justin Fields as the quarterback, Ashton Genty at running back. Who's going to be the next pick here? From the names that you see up on that screen, whoever I see the most down in the comment section, I will pick those 2 names.
Is there a specific position you want at this?
Somebody said Talik Williams, Darius Alexander, Watts. I'm seeing some Watts in there. Somebody said Landon Jackson, TJ Sanders.
Shamar Turner. Tyler Booker,
guard from Alabama. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think that might be a good pick there because we have
your guy Siobhan Ravel.
Siobhan Ravel, he could potentially be a round 1 pick at corner. In all honesty, if we went Ashton Genty and we ended up picking, and we have Justin Fields, if this was my pick, I'd probably go with Booker out of Alabama to build the trenches. But at the same time, I don't know what the Raiders did in free agency where I'm hoping, we've already taken – if you're going to go out and get freaking Genty and Fields, you better already have your offensive line figured out, man.
Yeah. So who are we going with? Who do you want to do?
All right. I'm seeing a lot of Booker. I see nothing but Bookers down below. Booker and Jackson. Cool. Oh, man. You're telling me we could have Trevian Henderson in the 3rd? It's all right. It's all right.
Your guy, Kevin Winston.
Dude, Wyatt still there? See, now I would rather had Milam. It's Milam. Wyatt Milam.
Dylan Gabriel as a backup.
I don't need Dylan Gabriel.
Maxwell Harrison. In the
All right,
slot,
let's
Savion
go.
Williams.
I do like Savania.
Isaiah Bond, 4-1.
If you need a right tackle, Marcus Mbao.
Trey Harris is still there.
There.
Johnson.
Are we just going all offense here? We're trying we might still need a legit wide receiver.
Probably need a wide receiver. Top wide receivers on the board.
I mean, out of all those names on there, I actually think Jalen Royals is a lot of screens. I don't really want that. I love the prospect of Savion Williams, but he's somebody I would rather have as, again, he'd be a fun gadget player as an athlete, but I don't know how good of a true wide receiver he is. All right. The problem is I used to be able to, like, when I would make polls, I told you this before, I used to be able to do like 3 or 4 options. I can only do 2. And I don't know why, but it's like that. All right, I'm seeing a lot of Savion Williams, so let's just go that route. This is y'all's mock draft. Savion Williams, let's do it. TCU, good athlete. Back on the board here for Las Vegas.
The guy, Kevin Winston. You really like him.
I do love Kevin Winston. He's a hell of a safety.
Maxwell Harrison just ran a 4.3.
Really good corner there.
Nick Amon-Ward. He's not going to make it that far.
I'll say 0. I mean, he might go round 1.
Makuba. I love Makuba. Will Howard.
Jalen Milroe would be the quarterback I'd love to learn underneath Fields, but I don't think I would take him yet. I mean, I'll tell you this. A lot of people at the Combine have been very impressed by Jalen Milroe.
Do we go Milroe as a...
I'm not going Milroe yet. Though I see a lot of Milroes down below. I see a few Winston Juniors down below. Let's go Winston Jr. I see that name probably the most from me just looking down real quick. Okay? And then what? Last pick here?
You can still get Milroe.
F it. Let's do it.
Well, you just got a safety, too.
Yeah. What do you guys want? Final pick here in our little mock draft.
Everyone's saying Milroe.
Milroe? All right, let's do it. Milroe it is. There we go. Honestly, I don't hate this. Genty, Tyler Booker, Savion Williams, Kevin Winston Jr., Jalen Milroe. There you go. Herman.
You got a B-, Herman.
Herman, what do you think? Hopefully you enjoyed it. All right, let's keep going through a few more questions here, and we will actually do a fan-led mock draft during the offseason. It'll be during a live show. We'll have the polls. We'll have all that stuff set up. It'll be a well-oiled machine at that point. The dearth of quarterback talent this year is a shame. Is dearth or girth? I don't know. But I agree that it's not nearly as good as what we've seen in years past. Though I feel like if you told me we get a Kyle McCord on day 3, I like the value of Kyle McCord a lot.
Yeah.
I think he can sling it with Chip Kelly.
4 for 4.
Oh, my God.
Value menu action.
God, family, Raiders for life. If a woman is always right, a man is always wrong. Then if a man tells a woman that she's right, is the man right or wrong? The world may never know.
Nope. You're still wrong.
I was going to say, Alex is, I always say this to her. I'm like, you might not always be right, but you are never wrong.
There you go.
And we're looking at the chicken or the egg situation. Jonathan, why are you so high on Justin Fields when he cannot throw a football? I don't necessarily think I'm high on Justin Fields. I think I'm more high on Chip Kelly. And
somebody clipped that.
And I think I like the idea of the team that you can build around Fields, which is going to make Fields better. I mean, he's 25 years old. He is a phenomenal athlete. You can't deny that fact. And this has been a regime that's been able to get quarterbacks that everybody thought was not good anymore, and they've been able to make those quarterbacks good again. Like if you were to take a flyer on some young person, and then if Fields was able to figure it out, and if Fields was able to, connect some of these dots, and then that athletic ability with Chip Kelly, I mean, I'm willing to take the risk because to me, Sam Darnold is a risk. Russell Wilson is a risk. Anything the Raiders do at quarterback is a risk. But what risk also can give us the highest upside? I think Justin Fields gives you the highest personal upside at the cheapest price. That sounds pretty good to me. Cameron Sproul, the last one on today's show, and then we are going to get out of here. If I'm the GM, I'm trading back from 6 and getting more capital. I think that's one of those things that's a lot easier said than done. And every year that I have done this show, I feel like we've always talked about, I would trade back, I would trade back, I would trade back. And a lot of times you say that because you want to get a lot of those extra picks. In a year where the quarterback class is a little bit weaker, I don't know if you're going to get as many opportunities to trade up. Though, if the New York Jets are serious about potentially taking Shador Sanders, and if the Raiders are, in fact, serious about not taking him, if there's another team in front of New York that wants to hop up in front of the Jets to take Sanders, that to me could be a possibility. But again,
the Saints.
There are a lot of rumors around the Saints and Shador. I'll tell you this right now. Saints go from 9 to 6, Raiders drop down to 9, and you get a third-round pick.
Oh, I'd want more than that.
I don't know if you would get more.
From 6 to 9.
Again, I'm trying to think of what the cost is this year.
For them to get their quarterback, I would want a extra third-round pick, and I would want a second or third-round pick in next year's draft.
So according to the trade value chart, it would cost New Orleans about a third and a fourth.
I would want to move back, and I would want that third and fourth next year. Or give me
I'd want the third and fourth this year.
You have so many picks, though. Like, if I'm the Raiders, I'm looking – if you don't get a quarterback this year, I'm trying to play a little bit of chess right now and being like, if I'm not getting a quarterback next year, how am I setting myself up in the future to get a quarterback? Sure. How do you do that? You get draft capital in next year's draft. You already have – I mean, we did a 4-round mock, and we had 5 picks already, you know? Like, you have picks in the third and fourth.
No, you already have 2. I mean, you'd have 3 thirds, 2 fourths. But what if you use some of those picks then to get into like the top 50 with certain prospects that you really like?
But then you're still not fixing your main issue at quarterback.
Sure. I guess I'm still thinking like if we got Justin Fields as our QB from the last mock.
Even if you do get Justin Fields, though, that's not you're not.
You don't know if it's you don't know if it's your long-term answer.
You're not banking. You're banking on him
being a
project this year. And then you're like, okay, well, we got to reevaluate this next offseason.
Yep. Fair.
If I'm the Raiders, if I'm trading back, I want draft capital next year. Honestly, if I'm the Raiders, I would trade just straight up New Orleans, move back to 9 and get New Orleans' first-round pick next year.
It's interesting.
Move back 3 spots, and then you get their first next year. And maybe
I don't think they would sign up for that, though.
And maybe add a 5th year.
If you told me right now, we'll move back and you give us a first next year, I would do that in a heartbeat.
But, I mean, to move up to get a quarterback in the top 10 picks, you look at what everybody else has done. You look at –
But I feel like this year it's lower.
But, I mean, even when the 49ers went up to get Trey Lance, they gave up 3 first-round picks for that.
I know.
Anybody that's getting a quarterback in the top 10 picks, I feel like you're having to at least give up 1 first-round pick.
Let's run it then. I'm freaking in. Let's run it.
Your first-round pick, would you do it, move back to 9, if you're not going to take Shador at all, move back to 9.
Yep.
And then you get a 5th-rounder this year and their first next year.
I'd do it in a heartbeat because I don't think the Saints are going to be very good. I don't think the Saints are going to be good. I know Derek Carr's a better quarterback than what we currently have, but I had this debate yesterday or a few days ago with a Saints fan, or might have been a Raiders fan. I don't know. Some people might even be both at this point. But I said, at least the Raiders have hope. And it's not a knock on Derek Carr, but I think at this point everybody knows if Derek Carr is your starting quarterback, you're not going to win anything important. You might be decent, but you're not going to win anything. I'd rather have the hope that we can win. It might result in us being bad again, but I at least want to have some hope. This next one's coming in from Nico, Laz, and then John, and then we're going to get on out of here. Though, Nico, at this point, I'll say this, man. You just got to take everything beat reporters say with a grain of salt. And I mean, but that really hasn't changed. And I know how difficult it is. I will say this. I was also getting a lot of information that those guys got where I don't know how many other shows people watch, but confidently, I think I'm very confident I can say I think I was the very first person to report the numbers I was hearing were around $100 million guaranteed.
But also...
But that's true what we were relayed.
It can be true that what they're reporting was true, and then the plans change.
Yeah.
Like, if Matthew Stafford obviously had some sort of connection to the Raiders, or else he wouldn't have been talking with Tom Brady in some form or fashion the other day in Montana. There was obviously some spark between him and the Raiders.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, things can change on the drop of a hat, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think, though, you're not wrong, and partly there's some frustration by Raiders fans, but you are right. Like, when people, and again, Vic Tafur, Vinny B, Hondo Carpenter, Tashawn Reed, they do their job, but when they report something, we can't look at it the same way of a Jordan Schultz, as an Adam Schefter, as an Ian Rappaport. They're not in that realm. Like, they're just not. I would say when a Vinny B, a Tashawn, a Vic, a Hondo, when they say something, you know, you got to honestly take it just way, like if I were to give my own opinion on here, where if I were to say, to me, no matter what, the Raiders aren't going to start a quarterback in this year's draft. They're only going to start a QB that would be a rookie by the name of Cam Ward. That's the only one. Like, to me, I feel like I have just as much credibility as anybody from those Raiders beat reporters, which maybe it's not a lot of credibility. But I also know this. When you go through the amount of different regimes that this team has gone through, you also got to change up your sources because it changes up agents. It changes up who you talk to. If you have somebody on the staff that you talk to, there's a chance that, you know, they might get moved on from. Like, my number one source 2 years ago is no longer even with the team, right? Like, and you just got to, it can be tough sometimes. I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too.
Now he's just fighting people on Twitter.
But who? Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah, we're not going to get into that. John, if we don't get our quarterback and the Raiders tank next year, would Pete Carroll get fired? No. Pete Carroll will not get fired. Pete Carroll is going to be the Raiders head coach no matter what for 3 years. I'm just telling you that right now. No matter what, Pete Carroll head coach 3 years, and the Raiders aren't going to tank.
Oh.
Pete Carroll was not hired to tank. Tank is not in the realm of possibilities.
I will say, though, a little trivia, there's been 2 teams in the past 10 years to fire coaches back-to-back years after one-and-dones. Do we know those 2 teams?
Wait, say that again?
There's been 2 teams in the past 10 years to have coaches fired in back-to-back seasons after only being the head coach for 1 season.
Jaguars?
Nope. Doug Peterson was there for multiple years. Does anybody know? A little NFL trivia. 2 teams over the past 10 years have fired coaches in back-to-back seasons after only giving them 1 year. What are those 2 teams? Extra points if you can give me the coaches as well.
It makes me, I want to say the Browns.
We have channels for both of these teams. Browns is not correct.
In the last 10 years.
Yep.
Not interims, right? Head coaches.
Head coaches.
Oh, man. All right, let's go through it here.
No, Josh McDaniels was technically more than 1 year, so it's not the Raiders.
Yeah, it's not. There's no way it's the Raiders. In the last 10 years, there's just no way. Not them. Cardinals?
Nope. They actually might surprise you. Both these teams are considered to be, I would say, pretty good teams right now.
Texans?
Texans are one of those teams. Do you know the names of the coaches that got fired in back-to-back seasons for the Texans?
David Culley.
Yup.
Lovie Smith.
Yeah, back-to-back years. David Culley and Lovie Smith were both fired after only 1 season. This one is if you know this one off the top of your head, you are a football savant. You are a ball knower to the highest degree if you can get this next one.
Is the other team also, you said, considered decent right now?
This past year was not the best, but they are considered to be one of the better teams.
Interesting. The only other team I would think of randomly.
I haven't seen anybody guess it in the comment section so far.
The Bengals?
Nope.
It's not the Titans.
I've now seen somebody get it, and I'm guessing people have Googled it.
Oh. I don't know what it is.
It is the 49ers.
Really? Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly was one of them, and the other one.
Well, Chip Kelly was 2016.
So the guy right before Chip Kelly, if you can get who that was. It's a name that once I tell you the name, you're like, I know that name, but I wouldn't have guessed it. Jim Tomsula.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. I was trying to think of.
But you know the name.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't. Chip Kelly, 2016. Yeah. Honestly, the other team that I would have tried to guess from the jump, I would have probably been Carolina, but that's interesting, man.
And both those teams considered over the past couple of years, I would say, both pretty good teams.
Yeah, I agree. All right, final one, Steve. Reunite Cam and Kyle Williams. Nobody talking about it. Cam and Kyle Williams. Nobody's talking about it.
Facts.
I don't know what you want me to say to that, man. All right, y'all. Appreciate everyone tuning in to today's show. Maybe we're going to reunite Cam and Kyle Williams because nobody's talking about it. All right, y'all. I got to get the heck out of here. The next time you're going to see me is Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Obviously, if anything else happens crazy, I will do my best to keep you guys up to date. Tomorrow, though, is my anniversary with Alex. I got a lot of stuff planned, so hopefully nothing too crazy happens, but I'll still be able to provide some content. If I don't get to something as soon as I usually would, just be patient with me because, again, we got dinner tonight. We're going to be doing a little thing tomorrow with Chuck, a little family day.
Yeah, you are.
She's doing a little thing tomorrow. Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys, peace out. I'm leaving.